Joining me now is the Democratic Congressman Eugene Vindman of Virginia. He is a retired Army colonel. Not really retired because he was done with the Army, but you fought back. You were one of these people, you and your brother, fought against injustice by this guy, the same guy, Donald Trump. Cost you your career, but now you have another career. And now you are doing something for the American people. And this is important. This is for senators to listen to this week, because apparently there's no career better than being a United States senator. The threat of being primaried means that you are just going to go ahead with what Donald Trump wants. Eugene Vindman, you are the one person to explain to Americans nothing is more important than your integrity.
That's true, Ali. Thank you so much for having me. Great to be back. And first thing I'd like to say is my heart goes out to the families of the passengers and crew of the American Airlines flight and the Black Hawk helicopter. And I'm also grateful to the first responders out of the 7th Congressional District, my district, local fire truck 23, who are operating fireboat 512 throughout the rescue and the recovery period. They're out there in the most difficult conditions. So I spoke to the fire chief. I'm grateful for their work. They're magnificent. The second thing I would say is that, the buck stops with the president. There is no warm-up period for the president of the United States. There's no warm-up period for the cabinet. He is the president of the United States. He has a cabinet that's in place. If he wants to take responsibility for a raft of illegal executive orders, he better take responsibility for being the president and being in charge when a plane goes down in Washington, D.C. And it's as simple as that. It's on him. It's on his shoulders.
Let's talk about, I want to talk about the courage that it takes to stand up to Donald Trump. There are 3 cabinet nominees. First of all, we saw everybody fold on Pete, not everybody, all but 3 Republicans fold on Pete Hegseth. And now we're watching Kash Patel, we're watching Tulsi Gabbard, we're watching RFK Jr. And there are Republicans who have real concerns. There's a Republican senator who's a doctor who thinks RFK Jr. is just wrong about vaccines. But they're all being threatened with primaries. When you and your brother had to talk about going public about Donald Trump's phone call to Volodymyr Zelensky and withholding power, I'm pretty sure the two of you, he was in your office, he came to your office, and I'm pretty sure the two of you both knew you were going to lose your careers over this.
Look, Ali, we had a duty. We were active duty Army officers. We had a duty. We had taken an oath to the Constitution, and we performed our duty. Our jobs were not as important as our oath to the Constitution and the American people. And, when you think about the nominees that we've seen this week, is their one quality is their loyalty to the President of the United States. It's not experience. It's not judgment. It's not capability. And that's completely reversed from what it should be. These people are being hired to serve their American people, American national security interests, the safety of Americans. But the only thing that the Senate is looking for and the president's looking for, Republican members in the Senate, is loyalty. And that is a complete reversal of the way the situation should be.
But you took a position back then because you felt there was a national security issue. Congress had approved aid to Ukraine. The president does not have a right to not distribute aid that Congress has approved, which, by the way, is exactly what he did with this funding freeze this week. It's as constitutional now as it was then. And you had to you risk something by doing that. The problem we've got today is we have people who, never mind their opinions on things, they're woefully unqualified to do jobs that will risk lives. That's the danger here. This is not just a policy shift about whether or not, things you like are going to happen. In each of these positions, at the FBI, the DNI, and the Health and Human Services, lives are at risk.
That's true. It's national security and safety and the lives of Americans are at risk. And we saw what happened this week. We didn't have an FAA administrator. The president had fired the Aviation Security Advisory Committee. And when you hire or you leave holes in the federal government when you freeze hiring, you have issues where you have insufficient staff. We've known for some time, frankly, that there are not enough air traffic controllers. When you freeze that situation, you make it even worse. And so you magnify that when you hire completely unqualified people whose only qualification is that they're loyal to you. And I hate to make potentially a sad prediction, but I think that when you try to break the federal government, you end up breaking it, and it will cost American lives and national security.
And let me ask you something about being qualified. I'm so, as I'm sure you could tell, I'm so deeply offended that in the moment where you need the president to come out here and give you the assurances that he's the head of the government does work in America, it's not yet broken. Talking about DEI and dwarfism there are experts. Let the NTSB investigate what happened. You were a government expert. That's why you were at the White House. That's why you did that. You're an expert in your field. You know things. You know that investigations take detail. You and I talked in Kyiv, where you were investigating little things that would lead to war crimes prosecutions, because experts do this. The president comes out and talks nonsense. It does not make me feel better about getting on a plane when he carries on about how it was DEI that caused an accident. Let the NTSB tell me what caused that accident.
Yeah, not only that, but he shirks his responsibility. I mean, I don't know leaders at the most junior level in the military that would shirk responsibility. I mean, if you're a leader, you lead. The buck stops with you. He's happy to take responsibility for signing, like I said, illegal executive orders, but he's happy to shift it on other people. It's nonsense. It's totally unacceptable. And, to your point, we've seen this before, right? In the first impeachment, it was this impoundment. It was the withholding of aid that the Congress had authorized. Congress has the power of the purse. I mean, it's a constitutional function. The president doesn't get to decide where he freezes aid or funds from being dispersed. And, I was out and about in my district, and I was speaking to farmers, and they're concerned about having funding from the Department of Agriculture for partially built structures, or crop insurance, or a backstop to bird flu, poultry insurance. There are municipalities that are concerned about not having the funding for police forces. We are not out of the woods on this funding freeze by a long shot.
No, we're not.
The courts stepped in, and this is going to end up breaking government. It's going to make government less efficient, and it's going to be dangerous to the American people.
You and your brother come from places where that's how it was, which is why you're here to fight for how that doesn't need to be the case in America. We have government, it works. We have a civil service, it works. We have a military that works. We need to make sure that doesn't get broken. Thank you for the work that you're doing, Congressman. Good to see you as always. Eugene Vindman, United States Congressman.
Thank you, Joey.